If you hear the words back to school and you still think of things like Lisa Frank, Trapper Keepers, and Mr. Sketch markers, then you might be a Xennial and you are in the right place because we are too. Hi there, I'm Danny.
And I'm Katie.
And you are listening to Generation in Between, a Xennial podcast, where we educate and entertain you about random things from our coming of age years in the 80s and 90s. Today, we will be talking about school supplies. And I'm going to take you on a walk down memory lane with three of my most nostalgic school supply products. So, Katie, do you remember any of your favorite school supplies from your grade school or like middle school years?
I remember just loving to get school supplies.
Yes.
I loved a good notebook. I like those 5-star notebooks. That was more like towards high school age, I guess, where they had the pockets. So could, like, of course they were supposed to be for like worksheets and stuff, but I would put notes from friends in there and hide them, and then had little pockets for my friends. Remember that? And the ones you mentioned at the top, the Trapper Keepers, the marker, Mr. Sketch markers, Lisa Frank. Loved all that. I still like enjoy, minus the price tag, getting school supplies for my kids, because it's just, it kind of like in the new year when you get like a new calendar or a planner, it just really feels like a fresh slate, and like you kind of get excited about what you're going to do with everything. So I just have always had a good vibe about school supplies.
And they have that smell, right? It's like everything has an identifying smell with like memories and nostalgia. It's like that mix of crayons and new paper and like, I know y'all can smell it.
She's
right?
over here smelling crayons. Just kidding.
Closing my eyes, envisioning. Yes. All right. So we're gonna take a little deep dive. Like we said, we like to entertain you on this podcast, but we're gonna educate you, because that's one of our things here at Generation in Between, is taking a look back and revisiting, because sometimes we don't know what we think we know, right, Katie?
I'd say almost every time so far there has been
every time
something that has blown my mind. So I'm really excited. I don't know what would like surprise me about like Lisa Frank and Trapper Keepers, but maybe I should buckle up. I don't know.
Get ready, because there's some stuff coming. So we're gonna actually start with my fave, and that would be Lisa Frank. Now, if you know me in real life, you will have zero surprise that I love Lisa Frank. Okay. So for those of you who aren't in the know, let me describe to you what actually, Katie, why don't you kind of describe for people what Lisa Frank is?
Yes. So I will do so. And I would also like to say this doubles for what Danny is, as I'm describing, for those that don't know her. So here we go. It's bright colors. It's bold, loud, leopard print, but not like your standard leopard print, like neon pink and yellow and green leopard print, and just unicorns and rainbows and stickers and pens and just, I guess kind of girly, I suppose. There were boys that were in Lisa Frank and might be now, but I always kind of associated it kind of with like the girls that would put all the stickers all over their notebooks and things like that. And so Danny's kind of like a living, breathing, walking Lisa Frank exhibit.
I actually had two people tell me that recently. I did.
I'm not making it up. And I don't mean that like that's a compliment. Like, you pull it off, and
I love that.
You always know you're going to see her coming, and she's going to look great.
I'm sitting here with pink hair right now.
So. She does. Pink hair, pink shirt. I took a picture earlier. She goes, "Hold on, let me get my shades." And they were like hot pink, gooder sunglasses. So Lisa Frank equals Danny. But go on.
It is true. If you could peek inside my brain on a good day, because there's this like meme floating around, and it's like my two inner selves fighting, and it's like this creepy looking Godzilla monster fighting with like this rainbow unicorn, and I'm like, that's me.
Oh my gosh,
100%.
That's great.
Okay. So anyways, I love Lisa Frank. So basically Lisa Frank designed, and we're going to go into how she came about. That is the name of the artist. Okay. It is trademarked now, so hopefully we won't get in trouble for talking about it. But like Katie said, it's this aesthetic, and it was bright, psychedelic neon prints, rainbows, unicorns. She had all these different characters that had names. So the leopard one was Hunter, who was my favorite. Totally my next tattoo inspiration, by the way. I have to save up the dough. I'm going to do this whole like arm wraparound thing. But anyways, it was all over. This print was like all over notebooks and stickers. Stickers were a huge thing in the 80s, y'all. We'll talk about that another time. Lunch boxes, trapper keepers, which we're going to talk about next. It was like the print to have all over your stuff. Okay. And the Lisa Frank tagline, I don't know if you remember any of the commercials. Y'all have to Google some because this phrase was, you got to have it. That was their logo.
That was like their catchphrase.
Perfect. Because yes, you did. And I hate to feed into gender stereotypes, but it was totally marketed to little girls.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And this if you're hearing me describe this aesthetic and you're like, okay, that's not exclusive to Lisa Frank. No, plenty of companies have copied it since then, but she was the first one to have this particular kind of aesthetic. Like Justice now has a bunch of this stuff.
They do, yeah.
You can go into any kind of like discount store and see rainbow leopard print kind of stuff. And the 80s and 90s are coming back. So the Lisa Frank aesthetic is not the only, but she was the first.
And I just loved how like it was sort of unapologetically silly and bright, and like it's not a serious aesthetic.
No.
But it's cool to like, we're not trying to be something that we're not.
Right.
We are just trying to be very whimsical and whatever, and that people I think too, like girls, again, boys, if they like Lisa Frank as well, at us if you were one of those boys or are today men that love Lisa Frank. But it was kind of a way, I feel like, to sort of hang on to that little bit of like childhood as you were trying to be more grown up. It was still okay to have, like, even into middle school, high school, the Lisa Frank things. It was cool. It somehow made that leap.
It did. I agree with you. Maybe not for everyone, but let's talk about, okay, so how did Lisa Frank come to be? So, okay, I spent hours falling into the rabbit hole of Lisa Frank research. So we're just going to like touch on some of it.
Hang on. Shh, this is an actual person?
Yes, her name is actually Lisa Frank.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that. But her company, and not herself, well, you'll see, her company and her personal life totally overlapped and created all kind of madness. So anyway, I'm not going to go into all of it because I'm telling y'all, it was hours. Like, I was just diving deep, and there's a lot. So here's the thing. So Lisa Frank, yes, she's an actual person.
Okay.
She is originally from Michigan. Okay. She was always super into creating art as a child. Her parents encouraged her artistic endeavors. They put her in art class. They bought her supplies. She even has said she's like a super private person, so she hasn't done a lot of interviews and stuff. But in a select few of her interviews, she did say she was drawn to all things girly, like you said, quote unquote. Okay. Gender stereotyping, whatever, but that's what she said. Okay. So she goes to college to study art at the University of Arizona. And she actually, she had her first success artistic wise, but in a really shady way. So this, I was like, ew, when I found this out. So she would buy jewelry and pottery made by Native American communities. And then she'd go back home to Michigan and resell them at a marked up price.
Was she saying they were hers?
I don't know. But did she give any of that money back to them?
Right.
No, she did not.
No.
So she was buying these beautiful handmade art pieces.
Reselling.
Heading back to the Midwest or I guess Michigan.
Yeah, Midwest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then marking it up and selling it.
Yikes. Yeah, I don't like that
So I didn't like that. So gross. So that was her first success. Okay. But then she did have more legitimate business success a few years later. Or actually, maybe not a few years later, because it was before the age of 20. So she was still young and in college. She had a jewelry line, a plastic jewelry line called Sticky Fingers. And as soon as I read the explanation for this, I remembered this. I don't know if you will, Katie. So Sticky Fingers plastic jewelry. So 80s. Okay. Mm-hmm. She made it by gluing miniature, like teeny tiny fake fruit and other little miniature items that you could buy, at a jewelry store, craft store, whatever. And she would put them on bracelets and earrings, like these big chunky things, this fake fruit and fake things, and they would kind of dangle off. They were bought by major department stores like Neiman Marcus and Bloomingdale's, and they sold this Sticky Fingers jewelry line.
Okay? I do not remember this.
You don't remember this?
I think this is a hilarious name for it, because I think of like stealing.
Right. And so I was like, well, that's weird, because she was like stealing from other communities.
Yeah, I guess maybe it actually kind of all works out. But I guess it's because the actual things, whether they were actually sticky or not, they had like that vibe of being sticky.
I guess they never explained on any of the things I read why she called it that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Weird.
So then that inspired her to start making things with drawings by hand. She started making stickers and buttons. Okay. She would make this original artwork and then turn it into stickers and buttons. She actually got the rights to some popular characters. She got the rights to Betty Boop, Popeye, and Mighty Mouse from King Features. And so she started creating like this collaborative art using those characters. So she would put like Betty Boop on a unicorn or like, I don't know, Popeye with crazy colors or whatever. And she started selling that. So it's kind of like fan art, I guess. That's what I think of. And so she started selling those. But she did have the rights this time. She did it legitimately. Yeah. Right? So then in 1979, I don't know how old she was then, she founded Lisa Frank Incorporated. Now, this is about to be the company we all know. Well, those of us of a certain generation.
Yes.
So the headquarters were in Tucson, Arizona, which closed completely in 2013. But here's something cool that I found. The building was amazingly so much fun. Like, it was exactly what you think a Lisa Frank building would be. And it had all the things you would think it would have. It had like these big, fun painted walls. The glass was like pink on the outside.
Oh, wow.
There were statues of some of her like popular characters. You can actually go online and find pictures and video of the rundown warehouse, because people will still like go break in and go get video and stuff. And it's so sad. Like, it's this happy, fun stuff, but it's like run down and dirty and falling apart.
Oh my gosh.
But you can envision the coolness of what it was in its heyday. Like, what a fun place you would think to go to work. But dun dun dun. More to come on that in a minute. All right. So there is a fun little, like, and it's kind of weird and kind of spooky. There's this little short video you can find. We'll put the link in the show notes. That she did a little interview in 2012 that gives a little peek around the warehouse right before it closed. She did a short-lived collaboration with Urban Outfitters, which I did not know about. I don't remember this, which you would think I would know, but I don't. I was having a baby that time, so I was probably just overwhelmed. But you don't see her face, though. She's super private, like I said, and she's blacked out. So you can hear her voice talking. This is one of her few recorded interviews.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And it's a short video. It's only, I think, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And it's an interview with her where she kind of talks about some of the things I just said, except for stealing from Native communities.
She didn't mention that.
Yeah. And it gives us a little peek around her warehouse. So go look it up. We'll have the link.
So she did that interview around 2012, but the next year it closed?
Yeah, and we'll go into that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting there. So when Lisa Frank Inc. opened in 1979, they first started producing stickers. Like I said, she was making stickers and buttons. So it was a kind of cool to read about how they started doing it, the designs, and they actually go into this a little bit in the little short video clip. They began with a concept that she came up with, like rainbow unicorns or, rainbow leopard or whatever. And she drew it all by pencil sketch first. Then she did an 18 by 24 painting, which was airbrushed. Okay, she did airbrush. And it took up to 36 hours for just one design. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. And that's how they made all their designs until 1989 when they started moving to computer designing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay. So for example, the leopard, the rainbow leopard hunter, you said was his name, her name, his name, whatever. So she would kind of make like one, and then they would duplicate it on different things.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
First thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
What it showed in the video, like this, how she would draw, like all her original concept art, they saved, and they showed like this room where like all the cool stuff, and yeah, she would hand draw it all, and then they eventually moved into computer design, which is pretty cool though to think of. Like how much time it spent. Like
that's neat that they still had it, or they did have it.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone has it somewhere.
I know.
That's so cool.
Super neat. So in 1987, when my young self was in like first and second grade, the heyday of I gotta have it, Lisa Frank for me. Okay. Well, I'm still in that. I never outgrew it. So they moved beyond stickers and they started in on school supplies. Yep.
There it
now
is.
we all know and love, and she exploded, right? And like we said, folders, notebooks, pencils, any kind of school supply, Lisa Frank print was all over it.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Yep. Backpacks, all the things. So, like I said, there was some drama here. This is where things get real sticky, real not great. So there were some problems with Lisa Frank Inc. All right. Language warning. There's going to be some profanity thrown in here on this episode. Just if you're listening with little ears, now you know. So multiple sources, documented sources like court documents, have said that God. Lisa Frank was the shittiest company to work for in Tucson. Oh my God. Yeah, because of how Lisa and her husband at the time managed the company.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to get into some of this. I'm not going to like beat it into the ground because there's a lot to cover. And if you want to know the nitty gritty, you can look it up. James Green was the name of her husband. He was the acting CEO of Lisa Frank Inc. And he caused all kinds of issues. He created a toxic work environment. It was a mess. So he started working there in 1982. He was named the CEO in 1992. And then they got married. Him and Lisa married in 94.
So when he started working there, they weren't married.
No.
And it was 12 years later?
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously there was some shenanigans going on there. I don't know. They didn't talk about that much. So he, as the acting CEO, implemented all kinds of like harsh policies against workers. So let me tell you some of these. And this is from people who work there. Like I said, there's court documents and you'll hear about that in a minute. So the office at the headquarters, it was a silent work environment where employees were not allowed to speak to each other.
Is that even, can you?
Now, I don't know if that was in all areas or if it was just like in their design room or what, but yeah, that was a policy.
I feel like, and you and I are both creative people, part of what makes that so great is collaboration.
Right.
Of course, sometimes you have to go down your own little rabbit hole and put in your AirPods and be like, don't bother me. And I certainly do that on occasion, but yeah, not all the time. You have to, and also, even if you're not in a creative quote, I'm doing air quotes, creative field, you have to collaborate with your teammates.
I know. Like, it's so weird.
Do you just like handwrite notes?
My husband would love a work environment where it was required to be silent. Because he is an introvert.
Some people are like, this sounds like the best place ever. How do I work there?
He's probably like, I wish I could work at Lisa Frank. He doesn't work there, by the way. He also, so James Green also had this bi-monthly newsletter that he called Frankly Speaking.
Wow. Did you just call him James Frank?
Did I? Oh, that's hilarious.
Did he take her last name?
No, it's James Green. That's so funny.
I think you said James Frank, but that's funny. I don't know. We'll have to listen back.
You know.
Well, whoever. James had.
James Green. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry, really. Sorry, that's kind of funny. So in this newsletter, he would specify how employees were supposed to behave and how to specifically interact with him.
That's so weird.
Yep. He also secretly and illegally recorded phone calls that employees made Mm-hmm. No visitors were allowed to headquarters, even family members.
Yikes.
Yep. There were penalties for violating any of these or other policies. He would name call people in those office-wide newsletters and memos. He would have multiple ways of verbally abusing them at the workplace, and he would even automatically terminate them for violating any rules that he had set. So very dictator, okay, which you would not expect when you think of Lisa Frank Incorporated.
No.
He also, I don't want to say he, but the company failed to give severance packages multiple times, and they fought unemployment benefits.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So this sounds like a person, and maybe you're going to get more into this, who I'm seeing like domestic abuse red flags in this, where you're sort of in control of your people, you know.
I didn't go into that as much because, like I said, Lisa Frank is a very private person. Mm-hmm. So her personal life, you know, wasn't really discussed, but like it's definitely toxic. And there was some stuff that came up with their marriage. They are no longer married, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. So this wasn't all. I mean, they also had really bad publicity from a whole bunch of lawsuits that were implemented against them from contractors and builders of the headquarters who just never were paid.
Ooh. How much money they were making too. Not
right?
that you can ever not pay people, but I'm saying like they can't even use that as a reason.
Yeah. And so a lot of former employees were quoted in an article that I read on Jezebel. With the link is going to be in the bottom of our show notes. And they said the main problem at Lisa Frank Inc. was James Green. Like it was him. In 2005, 16 people had lawsuits against him directly for his abusive management style.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
16. And that's probably just the tip of the iceberg, right? So, right. So Lisa, she turned over the day-to-day operations and most of her holdings to him back when she started having her kids early in their marriage. And that's when he ruled over the business for the next decade. So she was trying to raise small children and also, you know, share her workload, I guess. And he just literally took it and dictatored all over it.
Yeah. That is nuts.
So there was like I said, there's tons of crazy stuff and drama that happened. There was some infidelity stuff with him in the workplace and lawsuits there. And Lisa filed for divorce from James Green in 2005. And then a whole bunch of mess went down against him. They were in legal battles for years. Her and him, personally, and then as a company. She eventually became CEO of her own company completely again, but they had legal battles, like I said, back and forth for years after.
Oh my gosh.
This is a mess. Okay, so that's the yucks. Okay, just a very brief overview of the yucks. So what's the deal now? Okay, so Lisa Frank Inc., it does still exist. They're obviously not in the headquarters anymore, but they exist a little differently. So she has another son named Forrest. Oh, fun fact. Her two sons, Hunter and Forrest, were named after two of her characters. Or maybe she named the characters after her kids. I think the characters came first.
Yeah, because Hunter would have been in the 80s. And she wasn't married till 94.
Correct. Good math there, Katie. Good math, Katie. Do that math for me.
Uh-oh. There's like steam coming out of my ears. That was really painful.
I love it. So anyway, I think Forrest is her younger son. I think Hunter's her older son. But anyways, it's run by him. But the company now, it licenses its artwork to other companies to handle the production of things. So like Loungefly creates mini backpacks with Lisa Frank print. Crocs make Lisa Frank shoes. A company named Morph designs makeup palettes.
Ooh, I love that.
Orly makes nail wraps. They even do mini blenders with BlendJet. So you can go on the Lisa Frank website and buy all these things, but sadly, no dang school supplies. Nary a one.
That is so weird. Like,
no notebooks, no binders, no trapper keepers.
I would think a company like 5 Star or Bic or even Crayola would pay the licensing fee to do that.
Now, there are lots of imitation. You can get Lisa Frank
vibe. Yeah, the
Lisa
aesthetic,
Frank,
the vibe.
Yes. You can get Lisa Frank vibes from all kinds of stuff these days. But if you want authentic Lisa Frank, you're going to have to not have direct school supplies from. But I did go on their website and I kind of ordered some nail wraps. They're not here yet. But that's what you get when you're drinking wine and researching Lisa Frank. And I ordered every single one they had. They had like 3 or 4, and I ordered all of them.
So maybe by the time we post this episode, we can have a picture of that. So make sure you're checking the socials, everyone, for nail wraps to come from Lisa Frank. Wow, that was
extensive, right?
Unexpected,
extensive.
I am a little like bummed out by it. I'm really hoping Lisa Frank as a brand can have some sort of school supply comeback that doesn't involve James Frank, as we're now going to call him.
I know.
Frankly speaking, ugh.
Right? Ew.
You guys.
Know.
This is
I know.
Not good.
Talk about toxic masculinity.
And just like
power hungry.
Yeah. Ew, that's why I was really surprised when you said he started in 92 or 82. Then 90. I just assumed the whole reason he became CEO, because he's so terrible, is because they were married. But it seems like he worked there already.
Right.
And the marriage came after. So I'm really confused.
Yeah, you would not think when you see Lisa Frank stuff that all this drama
under the
bright shiny rainbow neon
that is so
is
wild.
A mess.
Yes.
But anyway, I still love Lisa Frank.
Me too.
I will always love Lisa Frank. If I lived by myself and didn't live in a house full of men who don't enjoy the Lisa Frank aesthetic, that is what my house would look like. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So moving on, the next 2 things do not have any drama like this. Okay. So it won't be as long. So we're going to go into the trapper keeper. So I'm excited to talk about this. Hold on. I have to do this.
We got to hear it. Do it close to the mic.
So
there it was.
All right. So Katie, tell them what a trapper keeper is to your recollection.
So a trapper keeper is a binder, but it's like a 3 ring binder with pocket folders and Velcro, which is how so it's, extra secure when you close it. And you could, from my memory, you could put like different folders in it that were sometimes trapper keeper folders, but really any folders could fit in there. You could put your 3 ring like spiral binders in there. You could put like pencil cases that could hook in there. And it was just really like a more secure way to carry like everything you needed. And you could get really any sort of design as far as I remember. I can't remember, and maybe you'll tell me if there were like licensed things like characters and stuff.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm only remembering like the generic kind of trapper keeper designs.
Right.
But I feel like there was more.
Oh, there's always more, right?
Always.
So everyone wanted these, y'all, back in the day. I mean, they're just like what Katie says, 3 ring binder that it sounds really basic. And you're like, it was a 3 ring binder that you could put folders in. But when I explain to you the design of this, you're going to be like, OMG, that makes so much sense. And everyone wanted these mostly because they were fun, like Katie said, with the design, but they were also hella functional. All right. So here we go. I'm going to tell you how these were invented. In 1972, there was a man named E. Bryant Crutchfield. How nice is that name?
I love that name.
So distinguished.
E. Bryant.
E. Bryant Crutchfield. He worked for Mead as a director of new ventures. Okay.
I would like that job.
Nice title.
Just
you have a
general.
fun name and a nice title. I love it. You sound fancy. So his job at Mead was to identify trends in the marketplace. So what he did was he conducted field research with someone at Harvard and found out that people were taking more classes but had smaller lockers to store all their notebooks. So portfolios, aka what we call folders, they were becoming very popular at the time to carry papers around in, which sounds weird that was like not a common thing because we use them so often.
What were people doing before?
I don't know. Like envelopes?
Papers?
Loose papers. I don't know. So folders were becoming really popular at the time to use. So he came up with the idea that he wanted something to carry all your folders. Okay. And the idea was to not have to bring all your folders with you all the time. You could, but then you could also keep the giant thing somewhere else to take the little things out of, which we'll talk about more in a second.
Okay.
But he also had the idea that he wanted to have vertical pockets instead of horizontal. So full stop.
About that.
Yeah. Full stop confession. I have a Trapper Keeper in my lap right now. Mm-hmm. So, and I'll get into that in a minute. The sound of Velcro. So I'm going to actually show Katie while I'm talking. So yes, I did not even realize that the vertical pockets were a thing. So here's the thing. The vertical pockets were already like a trend on the West Coast, and they were called, this is so great, Peachies.
What?
Like letter P, EECHEES. It stood for Peachy Keen.
What?
I swear. So
doesn't Keen start with a K?
I know, I don't get it. But
so confused.
They were called Peachies. All right. But they never made it past the West Coast, the vertical pocket Peachies. I told you this was so fun. So the nice thing about vertical pockets in a folder is that the papers get trapped inside. So with horizontal pockets, papers can fall out. Like if you turn it upside down or you drop it, the papers can fall out. But with vertical pockets, you can hold it in any direction and they don't come out. They are trapped. That gives you a little hint on how he came up with the name. All right. So the folders that Mr. Crutchfield was inventing were different than the Peachies, though, because he put angled vertical pockets, not just vertical, y'all. They're angled, as well as he put all this useful information that you might use in classes on the inside. Looking at it right now, there's a ruler. There's a multiplication table. There are multiple measurement conversions like weight, length, meters, centimeters, kilometers, all these little helpful things to use while you're in school. Okay. So he had all these little ideas. So he had those ideas for this folder, and then he wanted to design the 3-ring binder to hold the folders. So if a student dropped the binder, the papers would still stay put. Okay. So originally the binder didn't have that lovely Velcro that we've listened to twice already. It had like a button snap.
Okay.
So the Velcro came later, which I'll tell you about. So he came up with the name for his little portfolios. He called those little folders trappers because it trapped the paper.
I love that so much.
And then this is even greater. The name for the binder, the Trapper Keeper, get it? Came up over a martini business lunch one day with a coworker of his named John Wyant. So they were 2 martinis in at noon. And Mr. Crutchfield's all, hey, John.
So you're telling me E. Bryant Crutchfield, based on his friends at Harvard, had a martini with
probably
his friend
a couple.
John.
I'm assuming.
Martini lunch. Yeah, it sounds like a liquid lunch. And then, I mean, it's funny because he actually sounds like, at least what you've told me so far, a super logical person. And it's not that the Trapper Keeper is not logical. Like everything you're telling me is like kind of blowing my mind. But I think of the Trapper Keeper as kind of like, I don't know, whimsical and different and like just sort of this like, I don't know, not founded by some Mr. Crutchfield from Harvard.
I know. Like you don't think that there was this much thought in science, right? That went into this.
Definitely
it gets even better. Like I just love this man. I don't even know him, but this was so much fun to research. So, and I have to say his whole name. So when E. Bryant Crutchfield, he began regionally test marketing the Trapper Keeper in 1978. So what he did was he thought it would be useful to insert a little feedback card into each one. Okay. So I think he did this in the Midwest somewhere. Kids who purchased a Trapper Keeper received a slip that promised them a free binder if they mailed in their comments. So approximately 1,500 cards were returned. Okay. And under the question, Why did you purchase the Trapper Keeper rather than another type of binder?
Oh my God.
Here's what respondents said things. Okay. These are direct quotes. And this was an interview that he actually did with a company. He did pass away a few years ago, but and so he kept these, and this is what some of the responses were. So kids said things like, I heard it was good. My girlfriend had one. My mother got it by mistake, but I'd seen it on TV, so I decided to keep it.
Isn't that just like a whole statement?
Okay. Instead of taking the whole thing, you can take only one part home. Okay. Functional. There we go. Because they keep your papers where they belong. They're really great. Everybody has one. But Crutchfield's favorite comment came from a 14-year-old named Fred, and he kept the paper. All right.
Wow.
Fred wrote that he had bought the Trapper Keeper rather than another binder to keep all my shit, like papers and notes. I love this kid.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah.
Right?
Papers,
because that's
notes.
why you got a Trapper Keeper, is to keep all your shit and it doesn't fly out all over the place, right?
Exactly.
So market research obviously was a hit. Okay. 1,500 people sent in these response cards and they all were positive. They were all great. Yeah. So the Trapper Keeper launched nationally in 1981. And the folders, the Trappers, came in only 3 colors at first. They were red, blue, and green. And kids at first only had 6 Trapper Keeper option designs. So there were 3 solid colors, and then there were only 3 designs at first. So there was a soccer ball, a dog and a cat, and then a picture of the Oregon coast.
What?
They were just stock photos that Crutchfield bought from like a random agency. Okay.
So like kids love sports and animals.
And the Oregon coast.
Was that supposed to be for kids?
I don't know. So the Trappers had a suggested retail price of 29 cents each, and the Trapper Keepers had a retail price of $4.85. Okay. I don't even remember what I paid for mine the other day, but we'll talk about that in a second. So then 3 years later, after its debut, okay, it came out in 1981. 3 years later, Trapper Keeper sales were popping, but they started to evolve the Trapper Keeper a little bit. There were some design changes. That's when our little Velcro came in instead of the snap. And then they started having more design options available, and they refreshed these annually. So if you bought a design one year, it wasn't always available the next year. Right? Yes. So by 1988, Mead was making deals with companies. So here we go, Katie. This is where the licensed characters come in. So they were making deals with companies like Lisa Frank. Also popular characters, like you mentioned, like Garfield, because he was big. Even luxury car manufacturers like Lamborghini got in on it. So you could get you a Trapper Keeper with a Lambo on it.
I kind of remember that. I remember the cars. I never had one, but I remember those. Yeah.
Yep. So they kept selling like hotcakes. I mean, everybody wanted these. We talked about this. Like I had one. I remember my first Trapper Keeper was like metallic gray color, and it had purple and blue like laser beams coming across. And it had like 3D looking like spheres of matching colors on it. Why do I remember that
one? I remember that one. I don't know if I had it, but I can see it in my head.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yes. When you were describing it, I was like, yes, I can see it.
I know, right? So what happened to Trapper Keepers? Well, I mean, spoiler alert, I already said I have one. But I'll tell you. So the funny thing is schools started banning them. What? And I remember this. I think I was in middle school when this started happening, for a couple reasons. Teachers said the sound of the Velcro opening and closing in class was a distraction.
Oh my gosh.
With the problems we have now with kids and phones,
it's
Velcro
so
was a worry in the 80s. Okay.
Isn't that wild that was the distraction? Velcro.
I know. And then, but also teachers complained that the trappers could be used for cheating. Remember I told you about that extra info on the pockets with the ruler and the conversions?
Yeah, but I mean...
But like how? I mean...
And you could write that on a piece of paper and hide it somewhere.
And like why would you have your folder out? I don't know.
Yeah, anyway. I don't understand that one.
So some schools started banning them, and that's not really why. They just, like anything else, just kind of quit being less popular. There were other products, copycat products that, came out that were different and whatever. But after its heyday, it gradually had declining sales, and Mead actually pulled them from the market in 2002. Wow. So they were out for a long time.
Yeah.
I know when I was in high school, they were like not even a thing anymore. Mm-hmm. But they tried to relaunch them in 2007 and then again in 2014, and they even redesigned it that year to fit a tablet.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember this at all.
I don't either.
But my kids were still pretty little. So, but then recent years, the current wave we're still riding on 1980s nostalgia, started becoming a thing. And, Trapper Keepers were in Stranger Things, and Trapper Keepers were in other movies and shows. And so Trapper Keeper came back a couple years ago, and you can buy them anywhere. School supplies. I got mine at Walmart this week.
Love it.
And like I said, the inventor died in August 22, and he was 85.
Okay.
So he lived a good long life. But yeah, you can still buy Trapper Keepers. The ones I saw, there was only a couple prints. The one I had to buy was this very retro print. It's purple, and it's got laser beam dolphins.
Yes. Yes.
And it's got palm trees, and what else is on there? Like a holographic, I don't know.
I can't figure out if it's like someone surfing or climbing a mountain or
I don't know. But anyway, it's very retro. I had to have it.
I love it.
I had to have it when I saw it. So Trapper Keepers still exist. They're still there.
They do.
I don't know if people are using them.
I was just even looking at it like, because I take a lot of music, lots of different places, and I'm shuttling around my scores and my loose music, and I do just put them in like binders or whatever. And I'm looking at it like,
you need some trappers.
I need to start bringing my Trapper Keeper to rehearsals, and people are going to be like, wow, she's cool.
Look at her trapper.
Well, we should both walk in with them like under our arm to a rehearsal, just like, and don't even like say anything, just like, hey.
They would not be surprised with me.
We're here. Yeah, that's true. They wouldn't.
With me, they would not be surprised. Katie is much more polished than me. So
me sitting at the keyboard, and all of a sudden the Velcro. Well, guys, get your music out. Everyone would just be like, what is going on?
Like, oh, she's been friends with Danny too long now. Great. Way to go.
Oh, that was really interesting.
All right. So interesting thing. Moving on to my number 3 was Mr. Sketch scented markers.
Yes.
Now I have like zero info on these, y'all, because I don't know. There's just not a lot of info out there.
Okay.
These markers, for those of y'all who don't know what Mr. Sketch scented markers are, they are markers that smell like scents.
Okay. That's it. And they sketch.
They are like one of the pivotal smells of school time when I was a kid. I mean, it was like art time was like a whole sensory experience with Mr. Sketch, right? So
yes,
there are multiple like scented markers now, but Mr. Sketch was the original. They started making them in 1965 by Sanford Manufacturing Company. They started making it to rival with Crayola products.
Okay.
But now it's made by Knoll Rubbermaid. I have no idea why, how. I don't know. There was like nothing.
There's nothing to find out like
I don't know
when that happened or why.
Yes. Okay. So each color has like a distinct scent. And I have a package, and we're going to open these in a second. A lot of them are supposed to smell like fruit, but they don't really smell like fruit, but they have a smell. And they have like the distinct Mr. Sketch smell, like Play-Doh or Elmer's glue, right? It brings you back. Like I still remember the black one smelling like licorice, and we're gonna see if I'm right.
God, I'm scared of that one.
You either love it or hate it, right? Yeah. And let me tell y'all, the 80s were all about things that smelled. Okay,
yeah.
We had scratch and sniff everything.
Yes,
stickers, markers. I don't know what else. Lip gloss, like the soda flavored lip gloss.
Yes.
Like everything had to smell like something. They're also like designed where they can all click together, which I forgot about this.
Oh.
Yeah. Why? I don't know why. Who knows why they made them like that? It's ridiculous because guess what all us kids did in art time? You stuck them all together and made a giant like Mr. Sketch scented marker lightsaber sword. I mean, who doesn't remember that from the 80s and 90s?
Oh my gosh.
So like I said, I didn't find too much info on these. That's like about it. You can still buy them. I just bought mine at Target. they're being made today, but now they have all kind of fun themes with their scents. Ooh. The only ones I found at Target were the original. But every color has like a flavor. So I'm just going to read you some of the theme ones, okay, and the correlating colors and flavor scents, and then we're going to open some and smell them. Okay, that's so fun.
I'm so excited.
So when we were kids, all they had, I don't even remember if there were 12. So the box I have right now says it's the original 12. And it's 12, but I don't know. I think we only had like 4 or 6 to begin with.
Yeah, I think 12's too high a number.
But so in the 12 set, red is cherry.
Of course.
Orange is orange. Yellow is banana. Green is mint. Dark green is apple. Mm-hmm. Turquoise is fruit punch. That's weird.
That is weird. What?
Okay. Blue is blueberry. Purple is grape. Pink is watermelon. Magenta is raspberry. Yes. Black is licorice. And brown is cinnamon. Okay. But then they have like all these fun like extended sets. They have an ice cream set. Actually, I did see the ice cream one at Target, by the way. I did see that one there. The red in the ice cream set is cherry. The yellow is still banana. The green still... Actually, those are all the same.
Those are all the same.
Pink is bubblegum. That's the only different.
Okay.
Well, but then they have a movie night set.
Ooh.
And the orange is nacho cheese.
What?
And the yellow is popcorn. The blue is blue raspberry slushy, which obviously is probably still the same scent as the other ones.
As the other, yeah.
The light brown, though, is root beer. And the dark brown's chocolate mint. The magenta is hard candy.
That, I just do think I might have to go find this.
I know.
Because I need to know what a nacho cheese marker smells like.
I mean, ew. I don't know. I don't know if I want to. But then they had a little holiday set, which I want to find. The red is candy cane.
Oh, I love that.
The light yellow is Santa's cookie. The green is Christmas tree. The magenta is sugar plum. The brown is gingerbread. But the black is smoke. So
what?
Why didn't they just leave it licorice? I don't know.
Yeah, because I feel like that's a very Christmassy thing.
I know.
Or don't have black. Maybe pick a different color. Like, I don't even know what. Like blue. Blue. People talk about blue Christmas. But you couldn't do blue slushy. You'd have to do
It was weird, right? Like
I'm
blue smoke.
That. All right.
So Christmassy smoke.
So let's do this. Let's do this.
So here we go.
Okay, close your eyes.
Oh, yeah. Let's do a close eyes.
And then just reach into the box.
Okay.
And grab one.
All right.
And then open your eyes.
Are you going to do the same thing? Oh, wait. Are we going to?
Wait. Yeah. We're going to do the same thing. Okay,
same thing at the same time.
Eyes. Hold on.
Okay. Our eyes are closed.
All right. Open.
Are we going to smell it first and then open our eyes?
Yeah, I mean, open the marker.
Oh, sorry. Open the marker.
Open the marker. Don't open your eyes.
All right. Opening the marker.
All right. You smell yours first. What is it?
Okay. Mine, I think mine's cherry.
Okay. Let me do mine without like actually marking my nose. Oh, I don't know. I think mine's cherry. Honestly.
Okay, let's open our eyes.
All right, let's look.
Oh, mine's blue.
Mine's red.
Okay,
mine's cherry.
Right.
So yours is, what was blue? Was
a blue raspberry or something.
No, I thought blue was fruit punch.
Blue? No, this one. Oh, yeah. Well, there's 2 blues.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
Dark blue.
You're right, fruit punch. That one's fruit punch. Yes. So I was wrong, but whatever. There's cherries and fruit punch.
The cherry one smells good.
Okay,
I don't know about fruit punch.
So I don't know. Let's try a different one.
Okay.
All right, we'll do this one more time. Okay, hand me one. My eyes are closed.
Wait. I don't want to look at what you have.
I know. I don't want to look either. Okay, ready?
Right. Hold on. I got to get mine.
Okay, get yours.
Okay.
All right,
hold on. Just open, and I'll smell mine first.
Okay, you do.
Okay, where is it? There it is. Blueberry, I think. I think this one's blueberry.
Did we put the other ones back in?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. My eyes are closed. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Let me smell mine. Oh, I just threw on my nose. I have no idea what this is. It smells like a marker. I don't know.
I think I was right. Blueberry.
Mine's yellow. It didn't smell like anything.
Oh, banana.
No, smell that.
Okay.
And you were blueberry. Okay, so obviously Katie wins. She has better nose.
That smells exactly like banana.
I can't smell it.
It doesn't smell like a real banana. It smells like banana Laffy Taffy.
I have swollen nasal passages from allergies right now, I think.
Try it again.
I'm like shoving it up my nose and I cannot. All I smell is marker.
It smells like banana. Straight up.
Straight up. I'm going to make myself sick trying to smell this.
You're going to
I wrote all over my nose. Oh my goodness. Okay.
You're going to be halfway home in your car and be like, oh, I smell the banana now. All right, let's just see what these other ones are. Okay. Right. Pick one more. You can look.
Oh, I can look.
Yeah,
obviously.
Anyone that you want to try. Let's each do one more. I
want to see if I remember.
Okay, and I'll pick one more too.
Okay.
All right. I want to do pink just because I love
pink.
I
remember this.
Okay.
The black is the one I remember.
Black licorice.
Oh, I just drew in my nose again.
I said licorice. Okay, I think I have raspberry. Let's see. No, I can't smell this one.
See?
Do you smell it?
No.
It smells like nothing.
Weird. I got faulty Mr. Sketch.
But the licorice does smell like licorice? Okay.
Yeah. You got the top?
Oh, yeah. Here it is.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that does.
See? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Licorice, I feel, is very strong.
It's kind of hard to miss.
It's hard to miss. So,
anyways, go get you your own, and you can. And I feel like the holiday set is a fantastic stocking stuffer.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna not
an ad. Just us, your friendly Xennials, giving you some gift guide suggestions.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that was our little walk down memory lane, Xennials, of beloved school supplies of our time frame of being kids. So thank y'all so much for listening to Generation In Between, a Xennial podcast. If you liked what you heard, share us with your friends of all generations, and please leave us a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you didn't like it, don't worry about it. You can also find us on patreon.com. Become a monthly supporter, and you can have access to bonus episodes and other perks. Maybe we'll have our own school supplies one day, Katie.
Ooh, Xennial school supplies.
All that info is linked in our show notes. So until next time, be cool and stay in school, y'all.
Oh my God. Bye.
Bye.